Speaking of boxing, our friends over at FightHub.tv or FightHubTV.com, they had a video recently that they released talking to a bunch of boxing personalities, Gary Shaw, Bob Arum, Oscar De La Hoya, about the purchase of Strikeforce. And Bob Arum had something very interesting to say. He sort of, with a smile, wondered out loud whether or not the purchase of Strikeforce would violate some antitrust laws. And De La Hoya had his comments, and Shaw said it was bad for the fans. Did you see that video, and what do you think of it?
I don't think I've ever been happier that you've asked me a question in my life as I am that one. Number one, Gary Shaw's a moron, okay? First of all, this guy's going out and copying everything that I say. He's like, oh, they put on too many pay-per-views and they don't give any free fights. What the hell are you talking about, you moron? First of all, Gary Shaw, what did he do? He's done 3 fights this year. And when I say that, fights that he actually promoted himself, that were his actual fights, and all 3 of them were on Showtime. Showtime is not free. Okay, we've done 11 fights this year, and 4 of them were free on free television, actual free television, free cable. Okay, Gary, you idiot, you're so dumb. I can't even believe that I'm answering your questions, but or rebuttaling what you said. And then the other one, Bob Arum. Let me tell you what about Bob Arum. First of all, Bob Arum is copying. You go to a top rank fight now, they're copying everything we do, right? Now Bob Arum is also the guy who you know, he's out there crying antitrust, antitrust. Bob Arum, go back and look through the records in an interview that he did. He was laughing at the Fertittas for investing in this company. He was laughing at them, basically saying, they're idiots, they're losing oodles and oodles of money. Now you're crying antitrust, Bob? Bob, you weren't smart enough to do this. You weren't smart enough to do what we did to buy a company like this and basically change the fight industry forever. And now you're crying antitrust? You guys sound like a bunch of crybabies. And another one, Al Bernstein. I know Al Bernstein for a long time, and he's towing the company line, talking like, I don't know if this is good or whatever. Okay, Al, I see how it is.
Was this just, in your opinion, the boxing community and major players, they're feeling the heat, and we've had our issues with Bob Arum in the past, but with Bob saying that with a smile on his face, do you feel he's just trying to take a shot at you?
He's definitely taking a shot at us. And what's funny is every time these guys have fights, I pay for tickets to go to them. When they do their pay-per-views numbers, I'm like, good for them. I hope they do 2 million buys, you know what I mean? But if you look throughout the history of boxing, these guys have been crybabies. You know, they've always been crybabies. They're the biggest bunch of babies you've ever met. Bob Arum, the guy who was saying, oh, the Fertittas are idiots, they're losing, I quote, oodles of money in this thing. Now he's crying antitrust and he's copying everything we do. You weren't smart enough to do it, Bob. That's your fault.
And just to be clear, there have been people in the boxing world who have brought this up in the past, not just Bob. Has anyone from the government even approached you after the purchase of Strikeforce?
And just to let you know, De La Hoya didn't say anything bad. De La Hoya just said, listen, they're 2 different animals and whatever, so nothing on De La Hoya.
How about that question? Has anyone even approached you with this? Someone who can actually, you know, investigate this kind of thing. It's only been boxing people that have brought this up in the past. Anyone from the government ever looked into?
I don't think it's just boxing people. I think people are out there poking around. Let me tell you what. There's a lot of people, because this thing has been so successful. There's a lot of people out there who come after us and are taking shots at us. And the reality is, we took something that was absolutely dead and turned it around and turned it into this. And it was done by investing a ton of money, and the Fertittas actually having the balls to do it and to stay behind this thing when it didn't look like it was going to turn around.